Synod and synodality have been two terms that have been quite frequently spoken of in the church in the last few months. Now, what do these terms exactly mean, and how does it impact the life of you and me? Well, to explain all these terms and also what does the synod exactly mean, what is the entire process, and what is the entire aim of the synod 2021 to 2023, we have with us Father Vincent Chinnudurai, who is the Episcopal Vicar for the laity as well as the rector and parish priest of Annai Velankani Shrine, Besan Nagar, Chennai, who will explain to us and enlighten us on this theme of synodality, journeying together.
What is synod? Synod comes from the Greek word that means journey together. Journey together along the path, along the way. That is the simple meaning of the Greek, the etymological meaning of the word synod. Only that, then we the second Pentecost that ever happened in the recent years in the church was the Second Vatican Council. I hope we all read the documents of the Second Vatican Council. Do you remember who convened the Second Vatican Council? Of John the 23rd. Of John the 23rd was a plumpy man. He was elected Pope as a stopgap arrangement. They didn't expect him to, just to keep the status quo. Very simple. Man of the heart, very good pastor. One fine day, he exploded a very big bomb, saying that I convene the Second Vatican Council. Everybody was shocked. The bishops all over the world got a big shock of their lives. What is this man going to do? And in the inaugural address of the Second Vatican Council, for the Second Vatican Council, all the bishops all over the world were the participants. They gathered. In the inaugural session, he said, let us open the windows of the church. Let us open the windows of the church. Let fresh air come in. The context with which or in which he called for the Second Vatican Council was the background of the Second World War. Today the Third World War is on. Russia and Ukraine. It's called the Third World War. That was the time the Second World War was just over. 2 world wars. And there was poverty and hunger everywhere. The seniors here would know, your parents would know. In our country, there was poverty, no food. Everywhere poverty and, people felt they were strangled. And the church didn't know in which direction to go. And that's why Pope John the 23rd invoked or called for the Second Vatican Council. And there he said, let us open the windows of the church. Let fresh air come in. And as we all know, the Second Vatican Council went on for about 2 years and more, with intervals. Would any one of you say the outcome of the Second Vatican Council? Do you remember any of the outcome or fruits of the Second Vatican Council? The Second Vatican Council, when it was on, halfway through, Pope John the 23rd passed away. Pope Paul VI was elected Pope, and he continued the Second Vatican Council. And if the church is what is today, it is the product of the Second Vatican Council, the life and mission of the church. Do you remember, can you say a few of the outcomes or the fruits of the Second Vatican Council?
Use of the vernacular?
Use of the vernacular in the liturgy. Yes?
The priest faces the crowd during the
Yes. The priest used to look at the wall, and we all used to look at the back of the priest. The vernacular, we were altar boys. The priest will say, "Ate tu letivicar, even tu te meya." We understand anything. We didn't understand anything, but we have to say, don't say, respond. The parish priest will give a knock at your head. So we have to at least show this way and that way, nod. So, in the language that we didn't know, in the Latin, the use of the vernacular, and anything else that you can think of?
Even much important for laity.
Exactly. The laity were given very much, given very much importance in the life and mission of the church. Church is the people of God in enculturation. These are some of the fruits of the Second Vatican Council. Now, the present day, today, these years, I believe God sent the right people at the right time to lead the church. John Paul II was there for a long years. His pontificate was a very long pontificate, 27, 28 years. So after John the 23rd, Paul VI, John Paul the First, who lived only for 31 days, the cardinals who attended the conclave thought it's good to elect a young pope. Otherwise, every other year we have to come for the conclave, which means a lot of preparation, a lot of spending, expenditures, and all that. So they went for a young pope, young man to be elected as a pope. But that was God's will. We all know he was the right person at the time, because communism was taking over. A man from communist country, Poland, a man who himself was a victim of the communistic regime, dictatorial regime, would stand up, and that was the time when communism fell. Russia, USSR broke. Poland and other countries began to enjoy democracy. So God sends the right person at the right time next to him to succeed was Cardinal Ratzinger, the great theologian, who himself was a theologian of the Second Vatican Council. He attended the Second Vatican Council as a theologian, as a priest. He carried forward all these reforms, and of the few popes that I personally know in the sense, got the names, I give great credit to Pope Benedict XVI, because he had the humility and he had the courage to resign after 860 years in the history of the Church. After 860 years, the Pope resigned. I repeat, he had the humility and he had the courage. He accepted that he cannot lead this church at this turbulent time. He said, my health is not that good. I cannot. He saw, he would have read about the Vatican leaks. Things were going out of control. And these cardinals who were placed in important positions began only enjoying the power of the money and the perks. He resigned, and thank God. I don't know whether history will say the first mistake or the only mistake, or first time the Jesuit was elected Pope. So, as I said, it's the right person at the right time. It's the work of the Holy Spirit. And this man, coming from South America, Argentina, who at every stage was with the people. He knew the smell of his flock, smell of the sheep, and he was elected the Pope. And these years, over and over again, he has been repeating about going to the poor, to the, the cardinals who have been there in the Curia for so many years. They were and still they are unhappy about his way of doing things. Many indirectly and some openly oppose his ideas, and some call the Antichrist. Yes, there are a lot of things, because they have been used to certain way of things, to think the other way. They cannot, their chairs are shaken. The recent appointments, the Curia, and the recent nomination and cardinals surprise everybody. Man, not even 50 years old, has been nominated cardinal, and he will be there for another 35, 40 years as a cardinal till 80. He can vote the conclave. He goes to the boundaries and picks up people represent, who can rightly and justly represent the voice of the poor, of the marginalized, those who need real pastoral attention and care. Even though he was a Jesuit, in the sense, he was an office master, all those things you know. But his heart was with the people, poor people especially. As the auxiliary bishop, as the Archbishop of Buenos Aires, he led a very simple life. He knew the smell of a sheep. And the right person now, he again has called for this, I would call the Third Vatican Council. One of the many fruits of the Second Vatican Council is the Synod of Bishops. What is a Synod of Bishops? Synod of Bishops is a council of bishops who will give advice to the Pope. Who will give advice to the Pope on the matters that affect the Church. These bishops will represent the different episcopal conferences from all over the world. Representatives of the different episcopal conferences of the world. For example, for India. So India is the fourth largest episcopal conference in the world. First is Italy, second the United States, third Brazil, and fourth India. So according to the number of the bishops, representatives will be elected, and that the regular intervals of 4 years, once in 4 years, these representatives of the bishop, elected representatives of the different episcopal conferences will gather in Rome, Vatican, under the leadership of Pope, and they will discuss on certain issues. So far we have had 15 synods, 15 synods of bishops on different themes like new evangelization, on the youth, on family. The last one was on youth. After each synod, there will be a document given by apostolic exhortation given by the Pope. After the last Synod of Bishops, we got the apostolic exhortation, Christus vivit, Christ lives. It's on the youth. On family, we had Amoris Laetitia. So we had several apostolic exhortations after each Synod. So the participants in all these 15 synods, past 15 synods, were bishops and theologians, invited theologians and observers from other churches. And this 16th, so far the synods are categorized in three. One, ordinary synod. Second, special synod. Third, extraordinary synod. The present one that we are going to have is the 16th ordinary synod. What is extraordinary synod? What is special synod? Special synod is on particular topics like Africa. Recently we had Amazonia, on the Amazon countries, the countries around the Amazon. We can go deeper into, we don't have much time. So this is the 16th ordinary synod. This synod is going to be different from the past 15 synods, the very nature, because the participants, who are the participants of this synod? Every baptized Christian is a participant in the synod. Every baptized Christian is a participant in this synod. So you and I, we may not be bishops. This regular, usual synods used to be for 3 weeks. 3 weeks in Rome. This synod, 16th synod, is going to be, it has already started on the 10th of October 2021. Pope Francis inaugurated the synod in Vatican, and it is conducted in 3 phases. The first phase is the diocesan phase. The second phase is the continental phase, and the third phase is the universal phase. For the rest of the 2 phases, the first phase is the basis, foundation, and the other 2 phases will emerge, will be built on these on the very first phase, the diocesan phase. What do we do? The diocesan phase from October 10, 2021 till August 15, 2022 is the first phase. In each diocese, the local ordinary, the bishop, inaugurates the diocesan phase with the Mass, and in each parish there are 10 topics given to us, and on these 10 topics the people will share their opinion. I'll come to that. What is the theme of this synod? I said the previous synod was on the youth, it was on family, new evangelization. What is this synod is going to be, is about? Synod on synodality. Synod on synodality. What is synodality again? Synod, as I said, is walking together, journeying together. Synodality is that the church should be a journeying church, taking along everybody together. Nobody should be left out, and nobody should be left behind. Nobody should be left out, and nobody should be left behind. Everybody should be taken along the journey. And there are 3 tag words: synod on synodality. 3 tag words are communion, participation, and mission. Communion, participation, and mission. What is the aim of the church? Is journeying together. And what is going to be the product? What is going to be? Pope says, it is not, we are not going to produce one more document. No documents at all. What is the product? The very process itself is the product. The very process itself is the product. What does it mean? Communion, participation, and mission. That is, the Holy Father invites everyone that we listen to everyone. We listen to each other, and together we listen to the Holy Spirit. We listen to each other, and together we listen to God, to the Holy Spirit. which is the direction that the church. Pope is greatly concerned about the church today, this world, modern world, where in Europe and even here, nobody is coming to the church, especially the young. They don't find meaning in the church. The liturgy is boring. The homily is again the same, repeated, like CSSR, carefully selected sermons repeated. So, the youth, they don't find any meaning. How this church can be a relevant church. How to make this church a relevant church. Consumerism. There is no place for conscience. There is no place for God. So how to make this church a relevant church? So he invites everyone to listen to the other. The church should be a listening church. Listening not in the parishes when we have some meetings. The same people they attended if it is Vincent, it's a parish council, for all the meetings, same cases will be there, and they repeat the same thing. Now, the focus is given to those whose voices are not heard. Go to the peripheries. Listen to the voices that were unheard. Listen to them patiently. Listen with respect. Everybody should have their voice in the church. Everybody's voice should be heard in the church. So, as I said, the participants will be all those who are baptized. And he says, don't stop with that. Go to those who don't come to the church. Go to the bars. Go to the beach. Listen to them. Ask them, what do you want from the church? How do you expect your church to be? What is your dream about the church? Every one of us should be able to say, this is my dream church. What is your dream about the church? How do you expect the church to be? How do you expect the church to be relevant today to this present society, the present context? That is, many of the theologians now they say, this project of the Pope is an ambitious project. Very, very ambitious project. Why? Is it possible? Is it possible? It may not be possible to, 100%. At least 30, 40%. 40% in the pastoral field is equal to 100%. If in a parish you get 40% response, that means you get 100%. So it is an ambitious project of the Pope. So the first phase is the diocesan phase. Now in all the dioceses all over the world, this is going on. What are we doing? We have questioners here. Before that, I would again, the purpose of the Synod, to inspire people to dream about the church, to make people's hope flourish, to stimulate trust, to bind up wounds, to restore strength to our hands for common mission, to enlighten minds and warm hearts, to build bridges, to learn from one another, to weave new and deeper relationships. These are the purpose of the Synod. I would like to invite you to look at the logo of the Synod. Logo of the Synod. That is the logo. In the logo, you see a big tree. This logo was the artist, the French artist. Her vision after getting in the views of the Pope, this French artist gave this logo. You see a big tree. Usually trees are green trees. Here you see a different colored tree. It's a life-giving tree, that is the cross. The cross. And over there, above the tree, you see a round yellow round one. That is the Eucharist, the source and summit of Christian life, which gives strength. Eucharist that gives strength. And the tree is also, if you look at, looks like the wings of the bird, wings of the Holy Spirit, symbolizing the Holy Spirit. So Eucharist, cross, then the Holy Spirit, under these, under them, there are 15 Nilal Guru. Yeah, 15 of them you can count, starting from children, youth, differently challenged, physically challenged. You see a sister, an old man, the family carrying a child there is a bishop also. So all these representing the different section of the society of the church. And if you closely look at you see they are not standing straight giving a pose or a photograph. You see them in motion. They are walking. You could see they are walking. So the Holy Father feels the church has become stagnant. It is stagnant. What happens if the water gets stagnated? Dust gathers, all kinds of sicknesses breed, mosquitoes, dengue, everything comes. So the Holy Father wants the church to be in motion, a moving church, a journeying church, like a river. It should clean up every day. The stagnant in a stagnant water gets dirty, whereas a running brook, it's clean. It's clean, like a river flowing. In Tamil they say, Yendru pudidai pirappom. Every day should be born new. You should clean yourself. Every day should be born new. So the church should be a church in motion, journey, not a stagnant church, but a church that journeys, taking everybody along. And you see, they are on a horizontal line. On the same line, there is no bishop is not standing on the platform or anybody. All are on the same floor, horizontal. All are equal, walking together. This is if we understand this logo, then we understand the meaning of the synod. As I said, the three tag words: communion, participation, and mission. We should come together. Come together. First, coming together is we all know. First of all, coming together is a big start. And participating. We are not audiences. We are not audience. We are participants. We should have a sense of belonging. This is my church. This is my church. That sense of belonging. This is my congregation. Jesuits, wherever I am, this is the church for you. The larger church, and this is your particular church that for which you are called in. This is my congregation. This is my mother congregation. That sense of belonging. Then, when we participate, then naturally the mission comes. If listening to each other, one another, traveling, journeying together, then our mission is to proclaim. Proclamation, proclaim the gospel. That is the mission of the church. If the church has to exist, the church has to evangelize. My dear brothers, please keep in mind, the church exists only to proclaim the good news. If we are not doing that, the church has no business to exist. Whatever we do, we may be engaged in education, we may be engaged in social work, we may be engaged in refugee services, whatever service, ministry, apostolate that we are called in, we are called for, we are engaged in. That is the form of proclamation. We may not directly evangelize, but by our educational ministry, for hundreds and hundreds of years, our institutions have been centers of evangelization, may not be directly baptizing them, but with the values of the church, values of Christ, the values of the gospel, we have inculcated in the young minds, and that is the proclamation. And that is the mission for which we are called upon to do. So now, that is the purpose and the aim and the objective of the synod. At the diocesan level, as I said, we have given 10 guidelines, like 10 questions on 10 topics on which our sharing could be. One is our journey together, our listening, our speaking up, our gathering, our mission, our conversation with other Christians, sharing responsibility, our decision making, and finally learning to journey together. These are the 10 topics. We are invited, not only as I said, in the ambience, basic Christian community, with those who do not come to the church, you go to them, listen to them, why are you not coming to the church? What bothers you? Listen to them patiently. Learn from them. Not only that, you go to other denominations. Find out from them what they expect from the Catholic Church. Not only to the other denominations, go to other religions. How do they look at our church? And what do they expect from us, from the church? Not only to the Catholics, to the other denominations, to other religions, go even to those who don't believe in God. People of goodwill, go find out from them, learn from them what they expect the church to be. Now you understand why this project is an ambitious project. So in the parishes, what we do practically now, as CRI, Catholic Religious of India, what the CRI people they are doing in each community, you should know. In the parishes, we in Basan Nagar, we call the Anbiyams, each Anbiyam every day. And we had these given out a small leaflet. In Tamil, it's almost 16 pages. In question and answer form, explaining what synod is and what are these 10 topics about. And this is the English one. I will leave the leaflets and the question papers here, which may help you. So this one is given to each family. Each family, this leaflet is given, and before they could come for the meeting, discussion, NBM meeting, SCC meeting, they have an idea, general idea about the whole thing, synod, and in the meeting, we choose whatever the theme they would like, they accordingly. All the 10 themes need not be discussed. Some you may find it very, very relevant to that particular zone. Some may not. So take those questions, topics, discuss with them, listen to them, and everybody's opinion or voice is noted. There is no discussion, argument. I am right, you are wrong. No. Everyone's opinion is taken into consideration, recorded, and we also, apart from the small Christian communities, different pious associations, we invite them, listen to them, youth. Then in the vicariate level, we give chances for those who may not be able, who may not feel comfortable to come to the parishes. They may have some discomfort with the parish priest or in the NBMs. They may have something personal. They may not like to come there. For those people, we arrange a place. They can come there and give their views. For the differently challenged people we had, for the third gender people we had sessions. For the migrants, in those parishes where migrants are more in number, we gather them and we listen to them. And we have created an email ID. That ID is given to all the parishes and is displayed everywhere. You can use that as an email ID and send your views. Suppose you don't want to be identified. You want to give your opinion. The church is listening to you. You have a place. So this process will go till the end of this February end. In March, from each parish, from all the parishes, we get the synthesis. So each parish will give 10-page synthesis of all the discussions we had with the different groups on these 10 themes. There may not be outside the 10 also, there may be some themes which are welcome. The synthesis from each parish is again put together at the vicariate level. In each parish, we have a parish synod team. 3 members, at least one should be a female. From each parish, we have representatives. We have a representative from CRI, we have a representative from pious associations at the vicariate level. At the vicariate level, again, from all the 10 or 12 parishes, the synthesis is collected. Again, it is synthesized, and in the month of, towards the end of March, we collect from all the vicariates and the diocesan team, diocesan synod team will sit together and again it will be synthesized, and finally the views of the entire diocese, archdiocese, will be given to the Archbishop. My dear brothers, that will be the road map for the years to come for any diocese. What the people expect the church to be. It's a blessing for each diocese, for each parish first. What the parishioners expect the parish, the church to be, local church to be relevant to the people, to be relevant to the migrants, to be relevant to the differently challenged, to be relevant to the third gender, to those who are not able to come in, appear in public. So we will collect all this and present it to the Archbishop, and at the end of May or beginning of April, end of April or beginning of May, we will have the Archdiocesan Synod. This will be published, made known to the entire diocese, and from each diocese, for example in Tamil Nadu, that will be sent to the TNBC, Tamil Nadu Bishops' Council, and the TNBC will collect all of them together and send to CCBI. My dear brothers, there are 3 churches in India, maybe all Catholic churches. Latin Rite, you know, Syro-Malabar and Syro-Malankara. Syro-Malabar Church, they have their own discussions like Latin Rite, like Syro-Malankara also they have. So we sent to CCBI, Catholic Conference of the Catholic Bishops. There are CBCI and CCBI, all ABCD only. CBCI is a common umbrella. All the 3 churches come together under one umbrella. Syro-Malabar, Syro-Malankara and Syro-Malabar Latin Rite, 3 together under one church. That umbrella is called CBCI, Catholic Bishops' Conference of India. Latin Rite, CCBI, Conference of the Catholic Bishops of India. Strictly speaking, Vatican, CCBI, India is CCBI. The other rites, they have their Oriental churches, their congregation. So it's a different church, you know that as a church. So we sent to CCBI, and in CCBI they collect from all the 140 dioceses in India, and they make a synthesis, sent to FABC. That is the first phase. The second phase is the continental phase, or as FABC, Federation of Asian Bishops Conference. We sent there. Again, with whatever they collect, they make the first instrumentum laboris. Instrumentum laboris, the first working paper for the Synod, 2023 October. They make the first working paper. Again, from all the continents, from all the 7 continents that the church has, they collect in the secretariat and make the second instrumentum laboris from before the actual Synod 2023 that will happen in October 2023 in Vatican. The dates are not finalized and announced. So these are the processes. I think I have given a bird's eye view of the whole thing. If you have got any questions or
the very fact of synod is that invites every one of us to journey together. So, does this universal church, or at least the church in India, does it have a scope for the interreligious dialogue?
Again, the interreligious dialogue with other religions is a fruit of the Second Vatican Council. And for your information, in the Archdiocese, so far we have had on this Synodality 2 interreligious meetings or sharings. People from other religions were invited. Again, they were briefed well ahead of time before they could come for the meeting. What is the synod is about? What is the purpose of the synod? And what are they expect to? So we had a very fruitful sharing of ideas. How to be. We feel that our Holy Father is concerned about our religion or the society. They are also concerned that all over, that is the scenario, world scenario is that they are losing faith in God. Now, all the more they have become consumeristic, they are placing their trust in money, positions and all that. At the end of it, they run. I cycle the whole day. At the end of the day, I see I've been cycling on the cycle which was, it was Stanford, they have been cycling with our goals, spending our energy. At the end of the day, we find we are in the same place. So everybody is concerned. They express their concern, and they also wanted to know from us how to make this younger generation, the present generation, at least God-fearing, at least to have value-based, to have values in our lives. They are also concerned. This is our experience here in our Archdiocese. So far, we have had 2, and in the second week of March, we are going to have the third and final interreligious meet on this. Thank you for the next question.
Thank you for your wonderful session, Father. My question is based on your remarks. This synod will give a platform to the voiceless. So my question based on poor, marginalized and downtrodden. What are the responses, reactions that the church accumulated so far based on your parish, Western Nagar? The poor, the marginalized and the downtrodden, how they are responding. The reason is the elite people, they come forward. My eagerness is how the poor come and raise their voice.
Very good question. It's not, I am traveling all over the diocese. I'm traveling all over the diocese not only to the vicariate centers, but also they invite me to the parishes to animate the groups. I'm very, very, very happy to say, very satisfying that they are the people who come out the most, and they're really asking startling, challenging questions. They challenge the priests, they challenge the parish council, they challenge the religious who are running the educational institutions in the parish. They challenge. You have not given us. They openly, directly give. And to the priests, they say, you always give importance to the rich and the moneyed people. So far, you have not heard, taken any note of us. That's what I say. That's why I say it's very satisfying to know. At least this one is, all the parish council members are there, parish priests, parish priest is there, the religious people are there. They face to face, they ask, challenge to their, whatever they have been storing up. Now they give vent. So their voices are heard. At least when I sit in the chair, when they come for any assistance, any help, educational help or any other help, that is, in my mind, in the mind of the parish priest and those who are in responsibility to remember and to respond positively to the expectation of the poor and the needy and the marginalized. They openly come out. Yes.
Father, the church in India faces many challenges, internal and external. Internally, maybe the issue of the Dalit Christians, the tribal church, etc., where the proper representation is not there. Then externally, we have this acute fundamentalism which is also affecting the church. How the Indian church is taking all these aspects, both internal challenges and external challenges, and taking all people towards the synodality.
So that's why from each diocese we will be sending these synthesis of the expectation of different sections of the society, not only the Catholics, but the other denominations, other religions, and even non-believers. These will be, again as I said, will be the road map for the Indian church, or the local church, or the local parish. This will and should be the road map. We will take, the church should recognize and take into consideration all these unheard voices now that have come out, heard with respect and patience, that will be duly and should be duly taken into consideration, or else we will be irrelevant, we will be stagnant church.
Other minister?
The nice answer you given to Pradeep, which asked about what about the poor people, voice of poor people. Why? Because it's in love. We are living in the world. The time challenges with political involvement, the church very much at present we need. What about listening? We are really listening to the Spirit with the national leaders. National leaders also. So, but the Pope present Pope is involved very much with the national leaders and everything. But the voice of the political leaders also should be taken into consideration.
It's a good suggestion. I think the CCBI or the TNBC, the regional episcopal bodies and the national episcopal bodies should take this into consideration. We will give this as one of our recommendations. Thank you, Father. It's a good recommendation.
Given us a picture of our archdiocese, I'd like to know what is happening beyond our archdiocese, national level and also international level. Because from the papers we get, not all the bishops are, at least even as you said, they are not looking at our purpose. We should look at him. What do you say about that?
Father, it is true. Of course, everything depends. I would say, in one of the recollection talks, one of the priests, who gave the reflections, he said, the all-powerful God becomes powerless before the parish priest. This is what he said. The all-powerful God becomes powerless before the parish priest. I apply this to even the parish See, in our Ajna, I would proudly say, because I was the one who translated everything into Tamil and brought out all these leaflets. I don't know, something was like a passion for me within a very short span of time. I night and day sat and translated. Even we have, I wrote an anthem. And one of the priests, Joe Bala, has, set music for that very lively anthem, synodal anthem. I don't know whether that is there, and should be there. Maybe at the end of it we can play. So I would say the Madras Mylapore Archdiocese is number one in Tamil Nadu. Not because I am involved, but that is the fact. Even in Madras Mylapore Archdiocese, I know there are 1 or 2 parishes till recently, till January. People, they called me and said, Father, Ayargal Mamandram, Synod, you say I will be here. But our parish priest has not told us nothing about this. We know nothing about this. Then the January meeting, I had to very gently and politely say, my dear fathers, all are doing very, very well, 99.9 parishes, and there are still 1 or 2 parishes, I think. Some people called me and told me that. So when I shared that, then now we have in Chennai diocese, we have 3 from each diocese. 450 people on our WhatsApp group. From each parish, there are 3 people. Anything, whatever happens in each parish is shared in that WhatsApp group. So they get inspiration from one another and very, very active. And when I look into the YouTube inaugural masses, I don't want to name that diocese. There is a synod inauguration in this diocese. So I opened with all enthusiasm to know what happened. There was a normal evening mass in that cathedral. The bishop and there were 3 priests in the beginning. The beginning 3 priests, halfway through another 4 or 5 joined. Only that was the inaugural session. So everything depends on how we take it. So in general, I think as I said, 40% success is 100% success. I think with regard to synod, at least in Tamil Nadu, 60% would have got it. Some might have started late, but better late than never.
Father, I am still violating the regulation. This question is related to what you answered. This is about future projection. The entire exercise of the going through, is it only for the year of the synodality, or are we going to set a new trend in the church? That is my question. What is your projection or your estimation?
Exactly, that is what the Pope expects. This process itself, as I said, is the product. This process of journeying together, listening to one another, and together listening to God or listening to the guidings of the Holy Spirit. That should be as I said, to clean up our mess, to clean up all the dirts that we gather every day. It should be a journey in church. Not to we have so many institutions, so many priests, so many bishops, so many big shrines. We have built a big shrine, Vincent. Not to be content with that. It should be a journey in church, it should be a learning church, should be a self-cleaning church. We are all human. The church, even though it is divine, it's made of human beings like you and me. So it needs constant cleaning, constant tuning up, constant reminders. This, as Father Rector rightly put it, it should be a continual process. I think this will continue. Once this is the taste is given to the lay people like this, hereafter they won't stop. They will question us, challenge us. That will continue. That will be the